friends, Namaste. This is Mukesh Soni. Welcome to my YouTube channel Mukesh English. In this video, I'm going to explain Maya Angelou's famous poem Caged Bird. Hope it will be very much useful for you during the examination. Dear friends, before we read the poem, let's know about Maya Angelou, the poet of this poem. Maya Angelou was an acclaimed American poet, storyteller, activist, and autobiographer. She had a broad career as a singer, dancer, actress, composer, and Hollywood's first female black director. She has also been famous as a writer, editor, essayist, playwright, and poet. As a civil rights activist, Maya Angelou worked for Dr. Martin Luther King. She was also an educator and served as a Reynolds Professor of American Studies at Wake Forest University. Maya Angelou is best known for a series of 7 autobiographies, which focus on her childhood and early adult experiences. Her first autobiography, titled I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, was published in 1969, and this autobiography tells of her life up to the age of 17 and brought her international recognition and acclaim. She was respected as a spokesperson for black people and women, and her works have been considered as a defense of black culture. So that is the basic information of Maya Angelou. A brief note about the poem Caged Bird. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou is one of the most acclaimed poetic pieces written by the prominent African American poet Maya Angelou. Inspired by Paul Laurence Dunbar's poem Sympathy, this poem first appeared in 1983 in the collection of poems titled Why Don't You Sing? Angelou's autobiography also had the same title, which only suggests that the title of this poem and the motif it carries was immensely significant to the poet Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou often felt that her words were not heard because of the color of her skin. She felt that in some ways she was still experiencing slavery. Although African American people were free in Angelou's time, there were still many restrictions on them in society that many black Americans did not feel free at all. This poem reveals the depth of those feelings. Text from her autobiography reveals that Maya Angelou often felt like the bird in the cage in this poem. She felt restricted from enjoying the freedom that should have been her right as a human being. Responding to this with great courage and determination, she wrote and sang and danced because it was her way of experiencing as well as expressing for longing for freedom. The glossary, the difficult words of this poem. Leaps means jumps. Claim the sky, avow the full as one's own. Stalk means follow, trail. Narrow cage here refers to the restricted place. Rage means anger. Clipped means cut short. Trill means wobble, quiver. Sighing trees here refers to the sound produced by the leaves of the trees in the winds. Grave of dreams means the dreams that seem to be dead. Longed means desired. Stanza 1. The free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends and dips his wings in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. The opening lines show a bird leaping on the back of the wind, demonstrating the freedom it experiences to move about and glide freely through the air. It hovers over a stream of wind and floats downward to where the current of the stream ends and the wind is calm. It dips its wings in the sea of orange sunlight. So the bird is shown in a state of great tranquility. It has the freedom to move about wherever it desires. It is so utterly free and without restrictions that it dares to claim the sky. The whole sky is his one big home. Stanza 2. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. Here, The poet Maya Angelou contrasts the situation by presenting the image of a caged bird. The caged bird tries to go after his cage in vain. The cage is narrow, and its metaphorical bars are of rage. The caged bird is seen to be angry with its situation. It desires with all its heart to escape its plight, but the caged bird cannot see beyond his cage. Its wings are clipped, that is, means to say, its freedom is taken away. Wings are associated with flight, which in turn is associated with freedom. So the words, his wings are clipped, means to say that its freedom is forcibly taken away. It cannot fly even if it desires so, because its feet are tied. A bird who is tied to the ground represents an image completely opposite to its true nature of flight. This represents the fact of alienation of the bird, but the most important thing is that here, despite being in this utterly despondent situation, the caged bird opens his throat to sing. That seems to be his only joy and achievement in his life. Stanza 3. The caged bird sings with fearful trill of the things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. The caged bird has a wavering voice. He is singing for freedom and something he does not have. The idea of freedom is his dream, one he cannot achieve, so he sings about it. So there is a fear in his voice. He had never known what freedom tastes like, but hopes to have it for his own. His voice can be heard from distant places, on hills where it inspires others to dream of freedom. The caged bird does not sing of sadness, but of hope, inspiration, and of freedom. So in this stanza, we find a lot of optimistic note which the caged bird has expressed here. Stanza 4. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on a dawn, bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. Here, the free bird is enjoying his freedom. He enjoys flying through the trade wind that blows through the trees. Sighing tree here refers to the sighing sound made by the wind while passing through the leafy branches. It gives an indication to the lack of freedom because the trees are also tied to the ground just like the caged bird. The free bird thinks of the fat worm that will be his food, with the wind in his feathers, water and earth beneath him. The whole sky is with him. He feels majestic in his freedom and calls the entire sky his own domain. By names the sky his own, the poet wishes to express that the bird knows himself to the proprietor of his whole universe. So in the last line, the sky here refers to the whole universe, the whole world. Stanza 5. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams, his shadow shouts on a nightmare scream, his wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird knows that he is not flying in the sky, he is not free, he is a captive, he is a prisoner. Thus, he stands on the grave of dreams. He knows his dreams of flying in the open sky or to experience the freedom is futile. He had lost all the hope of freedom. His shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. It's more pitiable, it's more adverse than a nightmare. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied. There's only a little hope of freedom, so the bird opens his throat to sing. The bird wishes to travel against all the adversities through his song, so there is a faint but a kindling voice of hope in his song. Stanza 6. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. This refrain, recurring as a stanza, justifies the bird's strong determination to keep going after his dream of freedom. Moreover, the caged bird chooses to sing because this is the only freedom available to him that he can enjoy without any restriction. His wings are clipped, his feet are tied, but his throat is not chalked yet. This is something the poet have felt at heart, and that's why Maya Angelou, the poet, uses the title I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. This might be seen as the poet's message to raise our voice, to express ourselves even though the stronger wants to suppress the weaker, and to never ever give up no matter what situation we are in. In nutshell, contrasting images of how a free bird and a caged bird live their lives are created by the poet Maya Angelou. The free bird enjoys the open sky and floats on the back of the wind, while the caged bird's wings are clipped and feet are tied. The caged bird's future looks bleak, still he sings in a fearful voice and he sings of freedom. Maya Angelou, with the metaphor of birds, represents the inequality of justice seen in the society of a time, which differentiates between the African American community and its white American counterpart. Maya Angelou's poem, Caged Bird, brings out four important themes: freedom and slavery, despair and hope, fear and courage, adversity and good fortune. Let's discuss the literary devices employed in the poem The Caged Bird. The first literary device metaphor can be seen in the expression the caged bird. Even the title of the poem is also itself a metaphor. Imagery. A rich and the vivid imagery can be viewed in the poem The Caged Bird, and the images like wings are clipped and his feet are tied, orange sun rays, fat worms, dip his wings, opens his throat, all such images enhance the theme and the tone of the poem. Juxtaposition is viewed in the poem where the poet compares the two birds in different situations, the caged bird and the free bird. Personification. Here the trees are personified, where the human qualities are transferred to the trees which have been portrayed here as the sighing trees. Symbolism. The symbolism in the different expressions, like the appearance of the caged bird is a symbol of captivity and the free bird is a symbol of freedom. Other literary devices in the poem The Caged Bird is assonance. So we can see here the repetition of vowel sounds in the line number 1 and line number 23, like free, leaps, breeze. Alliteration. Alliteration means repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning of the sentences. So line number 8 we find here bird, bird. So there's a repetition of the consonant sound b. Line number 10 we can see the repetition of consonant sound sir in the words seldom, see. Dear friends, thank you so much for watching this video. For more videos, don't forget to subscribe and comment. For online classes, you can contact me on 6361617669, or you can mail me mukeshenglish@gmail.com. Thank you once again.